25,000 people filling the Sky Dome as they get ready to greet all of the players. As we mentioned before, some have been here since they opened the doors this morning at 9 o'clock. So that is just around 7.5 hours they have waited for this moment.
Over 4 million packing the Sky Dome this year to watch the Blue Jays.
Talking to Gord Ash a while ago, he was saying the Sky Dome was really a big turning point for the Blue Jays. This is a place that not only is a great place to see a game, but one that the players love playing in.
Top that is the greatest moment of your sporting life.
11:39 p.m. Eastern Time on October the 23rd of 1993 is a night that everyone who's a Blue Jays fan will remember.
Well, there are those who point to this year's World Series saying that it wasn't the most classically played one, and of course the most obvious example of that was Game 4, 15-14, a pitcher's nightmare.
Slugfest.
But it was sure one of the most entertaining, coming right down to that Joe Carter home run to win it all for the Jays. The first time that's happened since 1960 when the Pirates beat the Yankees on Bill Mazeroski's home run. Here's Gino Reda.
And Paul, a gentleman really who put this team together, the architect of the Toronto Blue Jays, back-to-back World Championship team, now joins me, Pat Gillick, general manager of the team. Pat, congratulations, you've done it again.
Thanks, Gino. Really was a good team effort this year from the standpoint, as everyone knows, we turned the team over a great deal over the 1992 offseason and came into this year, and I think there were a lot of people a little skeptical if we were going to be there, and Cito did a great job with the players, and everything kind of fell into place, and it's nice to be standing back here again almost a year to the day that we clinched in Atlanta.
There's not much doubt that Cito really has done a wonderful job with his team, but you provided the personnel. You made all the right deals at the right time in the offseason. You brought in Dave Stewart. You brought in Paul Molitor. There was a lot of attacking going on about bringing in Paul Molitor at the expense of losing to Dave Winfield as your DH, but it certainly paid off in a big way for you.
Well, really, we hated to lose Dave. He did a great job for us, but again, it was a contractual situation we got into. We'd have loved to have brought the Tom Hankies and the Jimmy Keys and the David Cohns and Manny Lee and Maldonado and those people back from a 92 club. But in the case of a lot of them, it was finances as well as length of contract, so we had to go another direction, and we were fortunate enough to come up with Paul Molitor.
And you certainly made another good deal in the fact that you brought back Tony Fernandez. A lot of people thought Tony Fernandez's attitude's going to wreck the clubhouse attitude, but certainly that wasn't a problem. His defense was terrific, and then he provided some offense in the World Series for you as well.
Well, he did a terrific job. The last half of the season, really the regular season, Tony got many, many key hits, and so he was a big part of this ball club. So again, it's something that we got a little lucky with and fell into place.
Now, surprise to us who are looking on was Pat Henkin. Here's a guy at the start of the season, didn't look like he's even going to be a part of the starting rotation. Then he wins 19 games for you. What a terrific thrill that was.
Well, you got to have some good things happen. The fact he won 19, Al Leiter won 9 ball games. Those have been real pluses, the type of year that Ole had. And really, it was kind of a blessing in disguise in Henkin's situation that Dave Stewart was down for a period of time, because this gave him a chance to pitch, or he possibly might not have won those 19 ball games. So really, sometime out of necessity, things come out very, very positive.
And what a great attitude you've got on this club. And maybe that's got a lot to do with Cito, and then you're bringing in the proper attitudes. In a situation in Philadelphia where a lot of tough decisions had to be made about the DH spot, everybody basically went to Cito and said, Cito, we're behind you 100%. John Olerud made that statement. Paul Molitor made that statement. Ed Sprague made that statement. How important is a good attitude on this club as well?
Well, it's very important. And the fact is, if you're spending the entire spring training and 160-plus games in the season, and now we're in the playoffs, I mean, these people live together more with the team than they do with their families. So it's very important that they be able to get along on a daily basis.
Now, certainly, you know you're going to start getting this question as well. Pat Gillick and this team three-peat.
Well, you better be careful, because you know that Pat Riley has a patent on that word, and every time that word is repeated, you're going to have to send some money to the Pat Riley fund.
I'll pull $5 out of my pocket, send that to Pat Riley, and thank you very much, and congratulate you once again, Pat.
Thank you.
Pat Gillick, basically the man who put this team together, back-to-back World Championship titles for the Toronto Blue Jays, and Pat Gillick, a huge part of that. Let's go back to Paul and Teresa.
And on this year's roster, he did it via the trade. 10 players on the roster picked up as a result of trades. Alomar, Carter, Eichhorn. I won't go down the whole list. 1 player, Willie Cañete, picked up on waivers. 8 players with professional experience picked up via free agency. Rob Butler signed as a free agent. He had no professional experience. And 8 other players picked up in the free agent draft. That is the makeup of this year's Toronto Blue Jays team, and the architect, Pat Gillick. No longer Stan Pat, which was once a nickname perhaps unfairly tagged on him when he didn't make too many trades. The Jays tried to develop talent from within, but Gillick is so renowned in the baseball world now as a deal maker that when the phone rings, I think other general managers automatically get suspicious. Should I let the guy go who Gillick wants?
Well, December the 5th of 1990 is when we saw Pat Gillick make a big move that was really what you could call a turning point for this team, Paul, when we saw Robbie Alomar and Joe Carter come to the Toronto Blue Jays, and what a contributions they have made to this team.
Came over from San Diego in exchange for Fred McGriff, who is a very popular Blue Jay and a great power hitter, and Tony Fernandez. Players will be inside any second.
And now joining us is Jerry Howarth, one of the voices of the Toronto Blue Jays. Jerry, you've seen this club. You haven't been with them from day one, but you certainly have seen them. You've seen a lot of changes on this club. You've seen a lot of change in personnel. You especially seen a lot of change in personnel from last year's World Championship team to this World Championship team. Did you think at the beginning of the year this was a team that could repeat?
I really didn't. In fact, I thought Baltimore would win, so that's how much I know about baseball. But I underestimated this ball club meshing as quickly as they did under Cito Gaston. And I can't give him enough credit, Gino, for what he's done to take teams from 89 to 93, all of different makeups, and make them winners.
Boy, here's a guy who has taken a lot of abuse in the press and the print, on the radio, on television, in terms of some of the decisions he's made. But time after time, whatever decision he makes, whether he's got the Midas touch or whether he really is one of the best managers in baseball, he continues to get the best out of his personnel.
Well, I think with his own dignity still intact from the pressures that he gets, he will go down in history as one of the best managers, because I think there's going to come a time when he'll leave the game. I don't think you'll ever see Cito Gaston fired here in Toronto. Cito's good in baseball. He enjoys it, but he has a life that he has beyond baseball. And I think in a couple of years, you'll see him step down and go down as one of the winningest managers and one of the greatest guys that the baseball fraternity has ever produced.
It seems that Cito's relationship in this life beyond baseball with his players has also had a great impact on the amount of production he's received from his players on the field. I spoke a few moments ago to Pat Gillick about the response he had from his team with no DH in Philadelphia. He had complete support, whereas there were some problems in Chicago with the DH problem in the ALCS. There were some problems with Philadelphia with players backstabbing each other at different times, but that just didn't happen with the Jays.
No, Cito is a player's manager through and through, and the reason for that is he never looks over their shoulder. He lets them play, and he doesn't panic. He's probably one of the few men in baseball, in any capacity, who does not panic under duress, and that's a great trait for him to have.
Jerry, thanks a lot for joining us. The crowd is going crazy. You know what that means.
Gino, thanks a lot.
Jerry Howarth, one of the two voices, the radio voices for the Toronto Blue Jays, the world champion Toronto Blue Jays. Let's go back to Paul and Teresa.
Cito, Gaston, and the rest of the Jays making their way inside the Skydome. Gaston, 426 wins, the winningest manager in Blue Jays history, a very short history so far. 575 winning percentage. Has never finished lower than second place as a manager.
Well, we've seen Cito at work since 1989, but when you take a look at the Toronto Blue Jays' success, you are looking at 11 consecutive winning seasons of baseball. That is 11 straight seasons over 500. A tremendous accomplishment, and now 2 World Series.
That is the longest current streak of any team in Major League Baseball, the longest active streak. Chicago is second 4 years in a row. Chicago White Sox.
I believe the Braves and the Cards each with 3 consecutive winning seasons. So really, when you take a look at that, it is phenomenal what the Toronto Blue Jays have done, and especially Cito Gaston, since he came on as an interim manager on May 15th of 1989 and then hired full-time, I guess it was, in May 31st of that year. And here comes the police pipe band. And the moment that these fans in the Skydome have waited so patiently for is about to happen. The 1993 World Series champions are on their way in the door.
I wonder if that's Curt Schilling's old towel.
Taken them 1 hour and 45 minutes to wind their way through the streets of Toronto. And now they are entering the Skydome. Peter Witherington, the chairman of the Blue Jays. We've seen him a couple of times, and as would be the case with his position, he is up front and center in the parade. You don't put the chairman at the back of the parade. That's corporate handbook, page number 15, I think. Politically correct move. Comes Tommy Craig and Brent Andrews, trainers for the Blue Jays. What a good job they've done to keep everybody all patched up.
Some of the coaches, Galen Cisco, pitching coach there in the green sweater. There's Johnny Sullivan enjoying maybe one of his last official functions as a member of the Toronto Blue Jays. Retiring after this season, what a way to go out. Back-to-back World Series titles. A lifelong baseball man.
And now it would be safe to say has achieved his lifelong baseball dreams.
There's Bob Baylor along with Larry Heisel. Baylor, one of the original Toronto Blue Jays. Remember that snowy day down at Exhibition Stadium in Toronto?
Jamie and Bobby Baylor along for the ride today.
Gene Tennis and Nick Leyva. Leyva joined the team around the All-Star break to take over for Rick Hacker as a third base coach. And Gene Tennis, bench coach with the Jays. Cito Gaston's right-hand man, if you will. Willie Cañete and Tony Castillo. Season for Devo White.
Colleen White along today to share this moment with her husband. And a warm welcome for Devo.
Tony Fernandez in the sweater there on your left. And that's Alfredo Griffin with his family over on the other side of the car.
How can you put into words, Paul, about how these players must be feeling today?
Hungover, I would guess. Lots of celebrating last night.
Al Leiter celebrating his 28th birthday yesterday. Big day for Lori Leiter and Kelly Olerud as they join their husbands in this big day of celebration.
There's Ed Sprague. Took over from Kelly Gruber as the Jays' third baseman this year. Scott Brow, Toronto Blue Jays pitcher, wasn't on the roster for the World Series, but he was with the team.
And Ed's wife, just as famous, Kristen Babb Sprague, synchronized swimmer, won gold in the 1992 Olympics.
Turner Ward on the left, and Randy Knorr also in the car, Blue Jays backup catcher.
And son Tucker Ward is sitting there on his dad's lap going, Dad, what the heck is all of this?
Woody Williams and Mark Eichhorn. Eichhorn in the center there, Woody Williams on the right.
Looks like Mary Eichhorn is recording the moment of videotape there, Paul, so always remember this one.
And Todd Stottlemyre doing the same thing, armed with a camera, taking pictures of the crowd. There's Pat Borders on the right, Stottlemyre on the left.
Schofield and Canada's own Rob Buckley. And his wife, Dawn.
What a welcome for Rob Butler. Dick Schofield in the car with him.
From a spectator 1 year to a player, and a big warm welcome this year.
welcome reliever Dwayne Ward.
Look at Mike Timlin and Danny Cox, and now here he comes, Dwayne Ward. That is Cynthia Ward joining Dwayne in the car today. Toronto welcome.
There's Darnell Coles coming in. Played third base, left field, right field, and first base this year.
Jack Morris.
A man who knows how to arrive in style. That's Jack Morris.
What an entrance.
And Pat Henkin chose not to ride on the back of the bike with Morris. He stayed in the car.
Ricky Henderson and pitcher Dave Stewart. Last night, Joe. Ladies and gentlemen, the best manager in the world, Cito Gaston, and his wife Denise.
Big smile on Cito Gaston's face. He can be a very stoic man at times. Tough to read his emotions, but read him like an open book at a moment like this, I would expect, as with anyone.
Introducing the voices of the Toronto Blue Jays, Telemedia Radio, the Fan 1430, Tom Cheek and Jerry Howard.
Hello, Toronto, city of champions. Give yourselves a great hand because you showed the world how to have a party last night without mayhem. Congratulations. Going to ask your indulgence for a few minutes because we're going to bring the Blue Jays up individually to have them say a word or two to you. But there are some other items that we would like to first touch upon. First of all, on the table right here are the spoils of war after a very long and hard-fought baseball season. The American League Championship Series MVP for Dave Stewart. The World Series MVP for Paul Molitor. And the Holy Grail of baseball, and it stays right here in this city, the World Championship Trophy. I would like to have you kindly acknowledge some special people who have worked around the clock to not only bring you the baseball season, but this postseason thing has been a lot of work for a lot of people. Seated up in the press box area is the Blue Jays front office staff. Would you please give them a big hand up there? And would you kindly acknowledge the ladies and gentlemen in the blue blazers who are all around the Sky Dome, the game staff, who do a great job day in, day out, game in and game out. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, we have some people who would like to come up and say hello to you. I would like to begin with the Metro Chairman, Mr. Alan Tonks. Mr. Tonks.
Thanks, Tom. The great, immemorable, and immortal Dizzy Dean, when asked what baseball was about, baseball is more than hitting, it's more than pitching, and it's more than stealing. It's a culture, and it's made up of class guys that make it a culture. The Blue Jays have made a commitment to making that culture a very positive force, not only in metropolitan Toronto, but right across Canada. And one of those class guys that makes it what it is, that culture we can all identify with, is Paul Molitor. I'd like to ask Paul if he'd come up here. Paul. Ladies and gentlemen, on your behalf, I'd like to make a check to the Children's Wish Foundation that Paul holds very dearly. It's a check for $12,000 out of $25,000 that was raised through the Metro Box. Paul, I make this presentation for you, and I know that you care about all those kids. Thank you. Houston if they would come forward. The Blue Jays, Pat and Paul, the Blue Jays from Butlerville, Newfoundland to Burnaby, BC, have put Metropolitan Toronto, indeed Canada, on the map. A great organization. On behalf of the people of Metropolitan Toronto, I'd like to make this presentation from a Canadian sculptor, Izzy Pucht. And Izzy has made this, I read it, a glorious season, a series for the world, a second victory. The Toronto Blue Jays, 92-93 World Series champions. Let's do it again next year.
Thank you, gentlemen. Mayor June Rollins is in Japan. We have with us today the Deputy Mayor of Toronto, Mr. Peter Tabbins, who is also going to make a special check presentation. Mr. Tabbins.
Thanks very much. On behalf of the Mayor, on behalf of City Council, on behalf of all the people of Toronto, it gives me very great pleasure to present this check to the Toronto Blue Jays for the Junior Jays Foundation. Mr. Gaston, Cito Gaston. The Junior Jays Club promotes positive, healthy lifestyles for young people, supported by Health Canada, and the Canadian Association of Chiefs of Police, and the Toronto Blue Jays Baseball Club. Blue Jay fans of all ages are proud of these incredible 1993 World Series champions. Congratulations on another winning season. Way to go, Jays!
Ladies and gentlemen, the first citizen of Ontario, and from day one of the biggest boosters of the Toronto Blue Jays, Premier Bob Ray. That's a bigger hand than you got last year, Bob. Way to go. Well, we would like to get the dynamic duo back up here in turn to say a few words to you. Here's a gentleman who last year, midwinter, in this ballpark told the group, we want to do this again. We want to bring another championship to the city. The president of the Blue Jays, Mr. Paul Beeston.
Tom, and my remarks will be short. I just want to say some thank yous to some very wonderful people. And I think we first want to start off with the Metropolitan Toronto Police Force, because you guys are the best. You helped us all year, you helped us today, and thank you very, very much. Doris Gillick told me this afternoon that the fans never gave up when we got to the ninth inning last night. Doris was right. You deserve an applause. On behalf of all of us, I clap for you. You've been wonderful. I want to thank the staff of the Blue Jays who worked so hard and did such a great job on putting this off, and I want to single out two people. One, of course, is Pat Gillick. Tirelessly put this team together, never ever worried, never ever faltered. He might have a tear in his eye occasionally, and he might have a frown on his face, but he had the faith. He's delivered 2 years in a row, and we're going to do it for a third time. And I want to thank, and another individual sitting back here in a designer jacket by the name of Cito Gaston. Cito is never given the credit that he's due. All he does is go out and win year after year after year. And finally, there's a group of guys back here that are about as wonderful a group of individuals ever to be associated with. They're tremendous people that came out of spring training with a mission. They won it this year. They won it not only for themselves, they won it for you, they won it for Canada. It was great. Thank you.
Well, they say if you're going to win, you have to have the horses, and this organization has had the horses for many years now, 11 straight winning seasons. That's unparalleled in the game today, and the gentleman who is entrusted with and charged with the responsibility of finding all the pieces and making the pieces fit is General Manager Pat Gillick. Patrick?
Thanks, Tom. It's nice to be back here about a year to the day. We're in 1992 when we celebrated our first World Series victory over Atlanta. So let's, as somebody said today, and you got to be careful because Pat Riley patented this word three-peater, but that's what we want to do. We want to win a third one in 1994. Again, I think on behalf of the players, I want to thank the fans for their support during the 1993 season and really since 1977, since we first came into existence. Certainly happy for Cito, the coaching staff, and all the players, but I think, as I thought overnight, really one of the guys, last year, I was especially grateful that we won a World Series for Rance Mulliniks. And I think this morning when I woke up, a guy that was with us in 1983 and then came back, and we won a ring for him, and he was a big part of it, Tony Fernandez.
While they're still awake after last night's festivities, let's hear now from the Blue Jays. What do you say? We're going to play past the microphone up here, beginning on this side, and work alternatingly toward the center. Would you all put your hands together now for my broadcast partner, Jerry Howarth. Thank you.
Let's start with a gentleman who has one World Series ring and now another, Turner Ward. Come on up here, Turner. Pretty sweet, isn't it?
It's nice. I'm just happy that I was a part of the piece of the puzzle that they put together here, and I just want to thank my wife, Donna, and my son Tucker for sticking behind me through the things we went through this year, and I want to thank all you fans for sticking behind us the whole year, and we really appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Way to go, Turner.
Here's the guy who closed up the shop last night. We're going to let him lead off this end today. Joe Carter. Joe. Let's hold it down to a mild roar here for just a second.
I tell you, Tom, to be able to come through like that, I don't know if I was more excited for myself or for the fans. But to see the reaction of not only fans, but of all these guys here coming out of the dugout, I mean, you don't know how sweet that made me feel to be able to come through and bring home another championship. But you as Toronto fans, I mean, you have to really sit back and wonder and look and feel how fortunate you all are, because you've got two guys who these players will agree, in Paul Beeston and Pat Gillick, for putting together a quality team year in and year out, and that's never been done in baseball. It's something that the players do not take for granted. Whenever there's an injury, they go out and they get a guy like a Tony Fernandez and bring him back. Dave Stewart, Paul Molitor, Ricky Henderson. It goes on and on every year because they're committed to bringing a winner to Toronto, because you fans will always support us. Last year's World Series ended up with me jumping up and down at first base. And everyone said they don't know, it was such a sweet sight to see that happen. They don't know if anything could top that. Well, I think 1 year later, I feel that we topped that. And it ended up this year. I ended up the same way, jumping up and down, up and down, up and down. But I tell you, it was a great feeling. And people, you know, they want to look and say that, well, Joe Carter won the game for us. That's not true. I didn't win the game. We all did. We play as a team, we win as a team, and we lose as a team. And right now, we're back-to-back world champions, and the only thing's better is the three-peat. Thank you very much. Joe Carter.
Thank you, Joe. Last year, this next gentleman pointed to this trophy, and he said, this is what we play for. He's back here again. Ed Sprague, come on up here, Ed. That trophy looks pretty good right there, doesn't it?
It looks really good, and it deserves, this is the place where it should stay, right here. And we had our enjoyment on the field last night, and now the fans have another 4, 5, 6 months to enjoy it for themselves. Savor the moment. You deserved it. Every night, 50,000, that's what it's all about. Thank you.
Well, Joe drove himself in last night, but he also drove some of the table setters in. You had a sense going to that bottom of the ninth, top of the order up, something's going to happen here. And the first guy to nurture it along and make it happen was Ricky Henderson. Ricky, come on up here. Ricky, what were your feelings when you got aboard last night? Did you say, here we go?
My feeling was that here we go. My job was to get on base, and I know the big guys would drive me in. So I got up in the ninth inning, and I told myself to be patient. And I know Mitch Whitney cannot throw that many strikes to me. So my biggest job was to get on base. But most of all, I want to thank Pat and Paul and the Blue Jays organization for bringing me over here. This has been one of my most special year in my baseball career. But also, I want to thank the Toronto Blue Jays fans. You know, when I was Oakland A's and I came here, and the Toronto Blue Jays fans was rooting for their team and booing Ricky Henderson. But deep down inside, I knew they was pulling for the great of the game. So thank you, fans. I love you, and I hope we can do it again next year.
Thank you, Ricky.
All right, Ricky. This next gentleman will always remember his first base hit in 1993 because it was a home run. Catcher Randy Knorr. Randy. Randy, it's a little nicer having Ricky in your own dugout rather than trying to throw him out, isn't it?
Yeah, he's way too fast to try to throw out, so it's good to have him over with us. He scores a lot of runs for us and helps us win ball games.
Randy, you had a great role. It was backing up Pat Borders, and you did it very well. I'm sure it was not easy, but you were ready when Cito called on you.
Well, it's a good thing to be catching behind Pat because I watch him and I get to learn a lot from him. He's a good catcher, and, you know, sitting back there behind somebody who is good, it doesn't feel so bad.
Randy Knorr, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Randy.
Stu. Come on up here, Stu. Dave Stewart. One of the great postseason performers in the history of the game. And how does this season stack up alongside some of your great ones?
This is my best ever. I've never had an opportunity to play with the quality of players that I play with, the class of players that I play with, the class of the organization that I'm playing with. But most of all, I've never had a chance to play for fans like this before.
Stu, on behalf of the fans, and I know I speak for them, you're that added touch of class. All the best to you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dave. This next young pitcher reflects the fact that you don't have to be on the 25-man roster to thoroughly enjoy what this ball club did. And when I think of this pitcher, I think of the last game of the season that wasn't meaningless for him. He won his first major league game in Baltimore. Scott Brow. Come on up, Scott. You had as much fun last night as anybody in the Sky Dome.
Well, right now, standing in front of all of you, I think I'm just about as excited and just about as nervous as I was when I was watching Joe hit that home run.
That was a great throw. This crowd is behind this ball club 100%. You can see that.
Absolutely. There's no better place in the world to play.
Scott Brow, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Scott.
Representing not only the Toronto Blue Jays, but the Metro Toronto Police Department, let's get Jack Morris up here. Jack. Now, there's got to be a story here, Jack. You got to tell us about this motorcycle caper. How'd that come about?
They let me use it. They just let me use it. I may never get this chance again, at least in this ballpark, but I want to thank some guys over here that deserve a thank you, and that's the men who clean up after us every day and massage our brains when we're not in uniform and help us. It's our clubhouse guys. Wave your hands, please. I just want to take this opportunity in case Mr. Beeston and Mr. Gillick have a little problem deciding what to do with me this winter, to thank them for what's going on these last 2 years. There's so many things that I'm grateful for, and to be a part of this organization really is special. I want to thank you, fans. I want to thank the people in this city for making me feel comfortable and welcome. And I want to thank all of Canada for making all of us Americans feel great. Thanks.
Jack Morris.
This next pitcher, after July the 20th, won 9 games in a row, and when he didn't personally win, he kept everybody on his club in the game. Juan Guzman. Sounds pretty good, doesn't it?
First, I want to thank God once again because for giving me the opportunity to be back healthy, you know. And I just want to say something. Early in the season, I had a lot of problems. I was inconsistent, you know. Things wasn't going the way that I wanted. But you fans, you are the best. You are the best. Unbelievable. You fans show me that you really care about me because when I was having my problem, when I was having all my problem, you always work with me. They always been with me all the time. I thank you very much for that. I thank you a lot. So as long as I'm playing for any team, not only the Blue Jays, any team who play in Canada, I'm going to do my best. I'm going to keep running my stair. I'm going to do everything for them. Thank you.
Well, he was up earlier. Let's get him back. Here's Molly. Paul Molitor. This 1993 season represents a long journey, 16 years, as a matter of fact, through your great city of Milwaukee, where you spent those vintage years. You came here because you wanted to savor the spoils of a championship season. Congratulations, MVP.
Thank you. Thank you, Tom. Thank you. There was a lot of very memorable moments in my first season as a Blue Jay, but the one I'm going to remember most is when I was standing right about 15 feet out in front here. I was looking out that way, and I saw a ball clear the left field fence. It was game over, series over, party time. That's what it was. I would like to thank Mr. Beeston and Mr. Gillick also. Last year, they came to to Milwaukee. We had dinner. They promised me that they were going to do everything they could to be the first team in 15 years to defend a championship. They are men of their word, let me tell you. So I thank them. I want to thank my teammates. And I want to tell you finally that representing this organization, this city, this province, this country has made me very proud. Thank you very much.
Paul Molitor.
Thank you, Paul. I remember standing on this stage last year, and we talked about a young pitcher who was 5-0 to start the year. And this year he went on to win 20 games. Well, the next individual I'm about to bring up here went 3-0 in the month of June. 3 precious wins when you're trying to win a division title. Who knows what he'll do next year pitcher Woody Williams. Woody. Now, Woody, how does it feel to be around all this talent?
It's unbelievable. If you just take a look at these guys here, they're all all-stars from all other teams, and just put them together, and they're a great group of guys to play with.
Now, I want to know, are you going to borrow Dave Stewart's desk there and maybe use that yourself?
I got to find something that works for me like these guys do for them, but I'm just happy to be a part of this, and I thank you all for the support.
Thank you, Woody. Woody Williams.
This next fellow has a job description. It is to save ball games. Not last night. Not last night. Last night the mission was get in there and hold them. And did he ever? And he recorded the biggest win of his baseball life and maybe in the history of this city, Dwayne Ward. Dwayne-o. How's it feeling today?
It's feeling very good right now. You know, after about an hour down on the streets of Toronto, to fight our way back to here, this is outstanding.
When you go back to the springtime and you looked at the makeup of your ball club this year, did you envision yourself standing on this stage right now?
Well, it's like everybody's been saying. Take a look behind me here. Where else would we be standing?
Can we make a date to be standing here a year from today?
Well, I remember one guy came over in 1991 after he signed the winner, and he said, roses are red, violets are blue. We can win in 92. This year, the winner came back. Another guy came up and said twice would be nice. The third time, everybody's already saying it. Joe Carter said it already, a three-peat. I'd like to see it happen.
You're going to make it happen if it does. All the best to you.
Thank you, Dwayne. This next ball player is a tremendous asset to any ball club he's been on, and he's been on this ball club twice. He is held in the highest esteem, and he had one of the lowest earned run averages on the staff, Mark Eichhorn.
Wait, hold on. They don't want me. They want the lefty, Castillo. Tony. Okay, I'd just like to... Sit down, Tony. You're not up. I just, first of all, like to thank God for this opportunity to get up here and speak. And I've been with and I'd like to thank my family and my wife, most of all. And I've been with this organization for 15 years. I've enjoyed, well, 12 years out of my 15 years, I've enjoyed every second of it. And just a year and a half ago, I had no rings, and I was with the California Angels. Now I've got one ring that's not real colorful, but I got another one coming I think it's going to be even more colorful. So I'm looking forward to putting them together and clanking them. So I'd just like to... I would just like to thank the organization for putting up with me, and I couldn't say more about them. I feel deeply about this organization. I hope they do about me, and I'll remember this always, and appreciate it, players. I really enjoyed it. Thanks a lot.
Mark Eichhorn. Last night in the aftermath of the championship, after a big hug and a handshake, I reminded this guy that it might have not come out on the bottom line quite as readily as it did had he not put that 5-0 streak in the bank earlier in the season. Right-hander Danny Cox. Danny? A lot of talk about these fans here. Do you realize that these people, many of them have been here since 9 o'clock this morning to see you guys?
I'm sure they have. I haven't slept either, so we're all even.
We're even.
Yeah, we're even.
Were you on Young Street in the aftermath?
No, I was watching it on TV, though.
Great show.
wonderful. I think the biggest thing for all of us right here is knowing that we're all world champions. We strived hard in spring training. There was a feeling of confidence. We believed in ourselves. And throughout the course of the season, no matter what happened, we kept striving for that goal. And right now, everybody standing on the stage is proof that we obtained it. And we're the best team in baseball right now in '93.
Well, you were a prime contributor. All the best to Danny Cox. Congratulations.
Well, it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you last year's MVP in the series, and this year, the best catcher in the American League, Pat Borders. Pat, you've had to work pretty hard to get to this particular point, and I know for you it's all been worth the wait.
Absolutely. Get 2 rings in your hand like that, you got to thank a couple people. I don't think it'd be said enough. You got to thank Pat Gillick, Paul Beeston, and Cito Gaston. And people say they want a 3-peat. Well, I got 3 more fingers on this one hand. I'd like to fill it up with rings. Thank you, fans.
Pat Borders.
Ladies and gentlemen, the world of sports harbors a million memories. Some of the great stories are about young men who aspire to someday play in the big leagues. It's not too often that they have the opportunity to do that in their hometown. From the sandlots of East York through the Blue Jays minor league system, Rob Butler.
It is for me to stand here with all these great players, all these great people who accepted me as a person and as one of their teammates, and had the greatest time of my life this year. And you know, from the day I walked off the field in Syracuse crying that I was going to the big leagues, and now I'm here standing with all these the World Series championship. You can't ask for anything more. And I want to say thank you to the Blue Jays from all of Canada, because you don't understand how special this is for all Canadians, and especially for me. But most of all, I want to thank my girlfriend Bonnie. She's been with me for 7 years and put up with all my my family, my brother. All those years of practice paid off, Rich. I love you.
Thank you, Rob. In August and September, when the division race was won, this next pitcher had 7 starts and he won 6 of them. And his best friends from now on will always say, keep your chin up. Todd Stottlemyre. Todd, this is a great thrill for you to be here a 2nd year in a row, and I know that for you there's a lot of accomplishment in it.
Thanks, Chair. First of all, I want to thank our manager, Cito Gaston, because when everybody in North America was telling him to send me to the bullpen, he constantly gave me the ball every 5th day. And when he gave the ball to me in Game 4, the mayor of Philly was trying to figure out how this guy was going to beat us, because he felt like he can hit me. I got one message for the mayor of Philly, and I hope you're out there looking. You can kiss my ass.
chances are I don't think I'll ever play in Philly, but that's okay. When I was up here last year, everybody came up and they were thanking their wives, and I said I was going to wait until I got home to thank my wife. Well, I want to take the time right now to say that she stood behind me in all the rough times. She's my biggest fan, and I love you. Thank you.
When Todd Stottlemyre told the mayor of Philly where to get off, Ricky Henderson said, "Whoop, there it is." Well, when you go back to the springtime and you realize how many ups and downs and how many potholes there were on the road to a championship, and you start looking at the individual stories that were all part of the big headline, "They win it all," you have to really zero in on this next guy who down in Dunedin, Florida, was wondering what his job might be. Nobody at that time would ever have envisioned that I would now introduce him as 20-game winner Pat Henkin. Now, I want you to fess up on this next question. When you saw that ball disappear over that fence last night, didn't you tell yourself, "I'm going to sleep pretty sound tonight"?
Oh yeah, there's no doubt. I was happy as anybody to clinch in 6th game. You know, I was ready mentally, but I was really glad that we won it.
If this thing had have gone to Game 7, where would you have been right about now? What would you have been doing?
I don't know. What time is it? I'd probably be pacing in the clubhouse right now and getting ready to prepare myself.
You didn't have to do it, but you were out there day in, day out, getting the ball time in and time out and racking up great numbers, and really were a model of consistency when things got a little bit rough way back over the early stretches of the season. All the best to you, and here's looking toward another great season in 1994.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you, fans.
Pat Henkin.
Thank you, Pat. In the month of September, when the Blue Jays won the division title, this pitcher pitched in 12 games, and the Blue Jays won 9 of them. Mike Timlin, ladies and gentlemen. Mike, how about a comment on these fans here in Toronto?
These are some of the best fans that I've ever played for, and this is the only team I've ever played for, and I'd like to remain here.
Now, Mike, what did you think when Joe Carter hit that ball over the wall? Where were you?
I was sitting about 2 centimeters away from Mike. I was so nervous I didn't know what to do. But I just looked at Ike and I just hugged him and looked around, and everybody was cheering and everybody was pouring out on the field, and I couldn't get down the stairs fast enough.
It was a great role, and I might have you here as one of the members of the bullpen highlight your bullpen coach, John Sullivan, who retires with another World Series ring.
John Sullivan. John Sullivan. I knew John Sullivan for 3 years. The first year that I ever met him, we didn't get along too well because I really didn't understand him. He's a great guy, very emotional, and he wants everyone up here to do their best, and especially me. I think he pushed me more than anyone. He kept repeating, just relax. I couldn't, but I wish he wouldn't retire. I mean, I really like the guy, but I've only known him for 3 years. John, you're a great inspiration.
We're going to move to the back row here, and I've got a deal with these gentlemen back here. I'm trying to scoff up some World Series trophies of my own, some caps and T-shirts. Jeff Ross, our equipment manager, told him that part of the deal was if he talked, I didn't get anything. So I would like to introduce the two clubhouse men with the Toronto Blue Jays, Jeff Ross and Ian Duff. Gentlemen, stand up, give them a wave. And I would like to bring up the members of the medical corps. These guys are so vital to the success of any sports endeavor over the course of a long season, especially in baseball, when little hurts just nag on, sometimes season long. Our head trainer, Tommy Craig, assistant, Brent Andrews, and the strength and conditioning coach, Jeff Horn. Guys, we'll get you up here in tandem as a trio. And first of all, Tommy, you're the senior man here. You've been around. You've seen this thing come a long way in the years that you've been with the Blue Jays.
I couldn't be happier in my 14 years, Tom. I have to thank everybody on the stage up here, and most of all the organization and all these players for making it happen. My wife, Teresa, and my family sitting right down here. I couldn't be happier right now.
And a young man from out Calgary way who joined the Blue Jays staff, how many years ago now, Brent? They're beginning to pile up on us.
It's 7 now.
7 years. And would you look at 93 as being the most satisfying, or don't let me put words in your mouth? You tell us.
I think for us as a training staff, this is probably the most satisfying year so far. But I got to add one more thing. I'd like to thank my wife for all her love and support and for the hard work she's done with our young son. And I love you very much.
There we go. Brent Andrews and Jeff Horn. Sometimes I think these guys, it's kind of a love-hate thing. If they're feeling right and they want to get out there and do these strenuous things, they kind of love you. But you've got to hit them at times when they just don't feel up to it.
Yeah, that's all part of it. You know, we didn't have too many occasions like that this year. This is the hardest working group of guys I've ever had a chance to be involved with. Just roller coaster all year long, and their dedication and hard work just made it all possible.
Well, you guys helped make it all possible. Gentlemen, thank you very much. Congratulations.
Back in 1960, when Bill Mazeroski hit his dramatic home run to win the World Series, one of his teammates mobbed him at home plate. 33 years later, his son mobbed Joe Carter at home plate, and I'm talking about Dick Schofield. Dick, come on up here. That is quite an honor, and I know you and your father will remember the memories you both have had because it's only happened twice in the World Series.
Yes, it was quite a feeling. I'm just thankful to be a part of this organization and have a chance to be here for the 93 season and hopefully years to come.
And if it weren't for Milt Kyler, who broke your arm, you might have had a little better season.
Well, yeah, I think the fans ought to thank Milt. You got quite a player in Tony Fernandez in here to help us win it. And like I said, I'm just glad to be here and happy for the players.
That last statement tells you a lot about modest Dick Schofield. Dick, thanks a lot.
This next guy today rode in his third World Series, or his third championship parade. The first in this city was in the Grey Cup parade as the first Blue Jay ever, Coach Bob Baylor. Bobby? And you're kind of a special group within the group here, fellows who have been with the organization and have stayed with the organization, players, coaches, sometimes leaving, coming back. How special was this year for you?
Well, Tom, last year I thought it was great and could never be any better, but the way this one ended, it was so exciting. It beats last year, and I don't know what next year is going to be like, if it can be better than this one or not.
Got about a 2-day growth there. There's a buck out there in those Pennsylvania hills waiting for you, right?
I'm going to get him, too.
All right. Bob Baylor.
Thank you, Bobby. I'm here to tell you that wherever you are, whatever you're doing, Patience and hard work pay off. And I'll let Al Leiter tell you about that. Ladies and gentlemen, Al Leiter. Al, this has to be one of the greatest rings that you will ever wear because you earned it.
Yeah, certainly right. I mean, all of the times that I've been here, fans certainly know what I've done or didn't do. All those rehab assignments. I really have to thank my wife, Lori, who's been part of those rehab assignments that's supposed to be turned out to be 20 days in Dunedin, and very miserable time in my career, but this is all bittersweet for me, and finally to be able to contribute. I mean, it's been all this time, and all the people that never gave up on me in this organization and fans and everyone else, I thank you, and I'm back.
You certainly are back. Al Leiter, congratulations.
Let's get Galen Cisco up to say hello, the Blue Jays pitching coach. Galen Cisco. Galen, it's all over for another season. When you look back at this particular group, is it a whoo, or are you looking forward to 94?
Well, I think we all have something great to look forward to 94. I want to say these guys are all professionals, and you can see why they're winners the way they handle themselves up here. So we just got a great bunch of guys, and it's been a privilege for me to work with them, and I'm just glad I was a part of it, and we love the fans here and hope we're here for a long time.
We hear you talking. Galen Cisco, all the best to you.
Thank you, Galen. I don't know about you, but from now on, whenever I hear the number 363, I'll think of John Olerud's batting title. John, come on up. John, congratulations. A tremendous season. And you can tell right now that these fans are certainly appreciative of what you've done here in this city in a short time.
Yeah, well, it was a great year for me. I think, you know, everything just went my way. It was a lot of fun, and, you know, it was great getting the support from the fans. So I'd like to thank the fans. And I'd definitely like to thank my wife, Kelly, for being there for me all year long. Made the season great. Thanks.
And would you also like to thank Paul Molitor, who in spring training said, when are you going to win your first batting title?
Yeah, well, he said that, and at that time, I think, you know, he was kind of joking because I was playing real well at the time, and, you know, who knew that it was going to turn out that way.
John, congratulations. John Olerud.
This has already been touched upon by Mike Temlin a few moments ago, but it's always difficult to bid adieu to good friends, and it's hard to believe that this baseball career is winding down now. Would you all put your hands together for our bullpen coach, who is retiring, John Sullivan. Sully? I know in your long life in the game, there have been a lot of ups and downs as not only a player, but as a minor league manager and paying your dues. And I think somebody said it here earlier, though, what a way to go out. What a way to wind it down.
Well, you couldn't have two better years in a row than 92 and 93, Tom. And I'd just like to say to everybody in the stands, on the stage, everybody that I've known in this ballpark, thanks.
And to you and Betsy, all the best. We love you.
One of the most creative post-game interviews that I've had the pleasure of doing occurred here earlier in the season when in the bottom of the ninth inning, young Willie Kenyatte homered to beat Kansas City 4-3. And at that time, we brought up Alfredo Griffin to interview him so that you could capture a little bit of what Willie's thoughts were. And I think it's only appropriate that this afternoon we bring the two up again. Ladies and gentlemen, Alfredo Griffin and Willie Kenyatte. Alfredo, you've been here before, but I know Willie is scared as can be, so maybe you can ask Willie what he thinks about all of this.
Willie, dice Harry, ¿qué tú piensas de todo lo que está pasando aquí ahora?
Bueno, me siento bastante contento ya que es mi primer año en una Grande Liga y en una World Series y me siento...
Wait, man, don't keep going. I can be able to repeat what you're saying. Hold on, man. Well, Willie said he feels real good. He's really happy to be in the big league. He don't know how it happened, but he's really happy. Don't ask him why he's happy. He won the World Series, and he's here. Don't worry about a thing.
Now, very good. Now that we've heard from Willie, Alfredo, this is a great throw for you. Second time back with Toronto. You won a series with the Dodgers. You've been here. What are your reflections?
Well, I can't ask for more, really. I'm really happy. I thanks everybody to give me the opportunity to be here again. Gillick, Beeston, Cito. I thank my wife to support me too. I can't ask for more, really. This is my third World Series. If there's another one coming, hey, I don't mind. I take it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alfredo Griffin and Willie Cagnati.
It has been touched upon many times here today about the organization and the kind of people that they bring in. And over the course of 17 years, I can tell you that it's been our pleasure to be associated with some outstanding people. I can tell you also that I've never met a nicer man in the game of baseball than Larry Heisel. Larry, come on up here if you would. Boy, I'll tell you what, you can do a lot worse than the numbers 1, 2, and 3 hitters in Major League Baseball.
Tom, I'm really privileged. We have as talented a group of men as I've ever been associated with. I'm extremely proud of those 3, but especially proud of all those players out there, because in 1993 in spring training, we began with the dream of repeating as world champs, a dream most people felt impossible. Those men back there made it a reality, and there is no group effort more deserving to be called world champs than that 1993 Toronto Blue Jay group.
Well spoken. Larry Heisel, all the best.
Ladies and gentlemen, in the history of the World Series, only one shortstop has ever driven in 9 runs. Tony Fernandez.
Thank you very much. First of all, I'd like to say one thing. I'd like to thank my God for bringing me back here. It was all because of him. It was a big blessing for me to come back here. I also like to thank Mr. Pat Gillick, Paul Beeston, and the scouts, or the whole staff, for having the courage to bring me back here. They had a great courage. I also like to thank Ciro, because when I came here, I know there was a pressure situation to hit behind John Olerud. And he put me just behind him, showing confidence in me, and that really helped. Thank you, Ciro. And to all of you, because many of you, the first word that you guys said to me when I came back here was, Tony, welcome back home. I wanted to tell you that those words meant a lot to me. I thank you all for allowing me to be part of your home. Thank you. There's only one more thing that I would like to say. You people don't know how much we got to go through in our career. I'm talking about
injuries, the pain, the agony that you got to go through. Only the person next to you knows what you go through. I'd like to thank my wife. I thank you. I love you. God bless you.
I'll tell you why we're going to do this thing again. We got a secret weapon in this organization in our ranks. We've got a lucky rabbit's foot. Call it what you will. This man is 6 for 6 in World Series in terms of championships. Our bench coach, Jim. I'm going to ask Gene to repeat something that I asked you last night in the clubhouse, and something that you said to the media before last night's game when they asked you to compare the great Oakland A's teams of the early 70s with the current Toronto Blue Jays. What was your reply?
First, I said it was the most difficult question that I've ever had to ask me, because I thought I would never have the opportunity to compare a club with those 3 World Championship clubs I played on in Oakland. But my answer was to the people in the press room was that this Blue Jay club behind me right here on the stage is the best out of all 3 of those clubs that I played for. And for me to say that, I'll tell you, that tells you how good these gentlemen are behind me. I want to thank all you fans. You were outstanding this year again. I want to thank the Blue Jay organization. I hope that this thing can happen again next year. We can go for that 3rd one. And it's been a pleasure in this city being here. Thank you, Tom.
Gene Tennis.
I now would like to bring up 2 Blue Jays, one of whom you're very familiar with, the other you're not, but he deserves to be in this spotlight because of endless hours that he has given to this organization setting up hitters for ball games. Ladies and gentlemen, batting practice pitcher Jesus Figueroa and pitcher Tony Castillo. Let's bring them up here. Come on up. Jesus is very much like Willie Kenyatte, does not speak a lot of English. Jesus, a great crowd here, and I know that you're a part of this, and you must be very happy.
Thank you very much.
That is one of the easiest interviews I have ever conducted. And Tony Castillo, 2nd time around, what has it meant to you to come back to Toronto?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you to everybody here. When I come back here, I say I want to come back home again. That's what I did. You know, come back to Toronto, and I feel pretty good here. And I want to thank you everybody, and I love you.
Did a great job, ladies and gentlemen. Tony Castillo and Jesus Figueroa.
I know that everybody here is aware that the organization was rocked at the All-Star break with the news that we had an almost tragedy, an almost fatality when Rich Hacker, the 3rd base coach, was so badly injured. Thank God he has rebounded and has made it all the way back now. But stepping into the breach over at 3rd base and being such an integral part of all the great things that happened down the stretch here especially is Nick Leyva, 3rd base coach. Nick, come on up. It was an emotional time, I know, for you personally, because it is a personal relationship, you and Rich.
Yeah, it really was. And, you know, you can't ever say enough nice things about Rich Hacker, but we're all happy that he's healthy once again, and hopefully we'll see him back here again next year. Let's give Rich a round of applause. Thank you. I feel like I'm probably the luckiest guy on this stage. In order for an organization to be successful, it has to be strong from top to bottom. And being that I started in the minor leagues, and there's a few people up here that started in the minor leagues, I just hope that I was able to come up here and do something that we all strive for when we're down there, and that's help us win a world championship.
You did it. All the best. Nick Leva.
Thank you, Nick. In years to come, when we all remember the memorable 15-14 Blue Jays win, we'll remember that Devon White won it with a 2-run triple. Devon, last year it was the catch, this year it was with your bat, and you've proven to one and all you can play this game both ways.
Oh, definitely. Playing with guys like Cito, the coaching staff, Larry Heisel, the things that goes on in the stadium when you're in the outfield is so much, attraction. I would like to say, same thing what Tony said to his wife, I love you, she's been behind me, and I'm going to make this short. Toronto, where's the party at? It's supposed to say whoop, there it is. Toronto, where the party at? Can't hear you. Toronto, where the party at?
You hear this? There we go. Another world champ. I think when we look back on this thing many years from now, we're going to remember back-to-back championships and maybe many more in the future. But we're also going to remember that we had the opportunity to watch from almost the launching pad, hopefully to the end, a Hall of Fame career unfold before our eyes. I believe that is in the cards for Roberto Alomar.
Thank you.
Robbie Alomar.
Thank you, Robbie. A man of very few words. When you get to the World Series and you look back, okay, Robbie, go ahead.
Thank you.
I want to know one thing. Did they tell you they would fine you if you didn't talk?
Yeah, I had to talk just a little bit. So, well, I want to say thank you to the fans. First of all, I want to say thank you to God for giving me the ability to play this game. I want to say thank you to all my teammates, to Cito. I want to say thank you to Tony Fernandez, because without him, I wouldn't be here right now. So, and I want to say thanks to all the fans for all the support. And I love you all. Thank you.
Roberto.
Thank you, Robbie. Last but certainly not least is a man who reflects the class on this ball club. And what I remember about him, and I'm sure most of you do as well, he hit the first ever pinch hit home run here in the Sky Dome to help win a ball game. Ladies and gentlemen, in his 8th year, but his first World Series ring, Darnell Coles. Come on up, Darnell.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for, wow, this has been some kind of roller coaster ride, but these guys know that I'm the quiet one on the team, so I don't talk a whole lot, but I'm sitting over here, and I had the opportunity to go to Tom's side of the stage, but he bypassed me for Roberto. I don't know why, but for whatever reason, he didn't want me over there. So, I'm on Jair's side, and his nickname is Big Fella, and you see why that is. He's only 4'2". But that's beside the point. But first of all, I'd like also to thank my lovely wife, who's been behind me through all this, but to take it one step further so that none of these guys have that night that they're not looking for, I'd like for you guys to give all our lovely wives a round of applause. Please stand up, ladies, please. Come on, come on, come on, come on. We don't have all day. Let's go. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. And secondly, I'd like to thank the Blue Jay organization, because I'm one of the guys that they went out and got this year. And this has been a blessing for me. And I'd like to thank Mr. Beeston, Mr. Gillick, Cito, all the coaches, Gordash and his lovely wife, and everybody else that I haven't met yet. I will meet sometime in the next 10 years, because I'm planning on being here that long, gentlemen. But what everybody doesn't understand is that we, as role players, have a tough job. Granted, you have 9 all-stars running out there every day, and granted, this is the best team that probably baseball has ever seen and will ever see. And I'm just happy that I got a chance to be a part of it. But what people don't understand is that there's guys sitting on this bench that work hard. I mean, granted, we had to break out our pom-poms because some of us didn't get a chance to play a whole lot during these playoffs. But the bottom line is that with these wives and these men behind me, fought hard the whole year, and everybody in these stands was behind us 150%. We'd like to thank each and every one of you for that. Granted, my time is almost up, but still, thank you, Toronto. And next year, I don't know how many of us are going to be back, but next year, some of us are going to be jogging out of that dugout. And I just want you guys to know that I'm going to pick up my right hand and shove that I'm double dribbling now, that right ring right on my finger, and I'm going to kiss it. Thank you. God bless each and every one of you.
Ladies and gentlemen, when seasons pass and we look at the spoils of war, as we said before, and they begin to pass out the postseason accolades, somebody apparently has never gotten the message that there's not just one way to skin a cat. There's not just one way to manage a baseball team. You don't have to whip them or verbally abuse them. You can do it and get the most out of them with a quiet confidence and a genuine love for your players. And I think anybody in this city can appreciate those qualities in Cito Gaston.
Well, that was great. Thank you very much. First of all, I'd like to thank God, my family, these players here. I wish we had enough time just to go over these guys individually. They're amazing. And they all have their own personality. But one thing they all have in common is that they're winners. And they love to play. They play hard. They play hurt. And they play tired. But they love to play. And that's why we're on this stage today, because of these guys right here. And just not the 9 that I ran out there today. And it was tough to get them out of the lineup sometimes because they did not want to come out of the lineup. But I think back about the other guys that were sitting on the bench. Randy Nora out in the bullpen. Randy hit some big home runs for us, got some hits to win some ball games for us. Donnell Cole, pinch hit home run. Willie Canati, home run to win a ball game. All these guys right here contributed. Milwaukee, Turner Ward, home run to win a ball game. So all these guys contributed to being on this stage today. Danny Cox pitched great, along with Icorn. All these guys on the stage pitched in and made it possible for us to be here today. And I am so proud of them. I know last year, the guys that were here from last year, they really went out and they bust their butts, and I think they did it a lot for me and for themselves. But this year, I think it was a little different. They not only did it for themselves, they did it for guys like Paul Molitor, guys like Donnell Cole, guys like Tony Fernandez, guys like Willie Canati, and guys who had never had the opportunity to play on a championship team or to play in the World Series. And these guys went out and they busted their ass for it. And as Joe Carter said early in the season, at a welcome back luncheon, when he was asked, why is it so hard to repeat? And I think he said, you're not sure if you want to go through all that again, because it is a job. And it's tough, it's a lot of work, it's a lot of sacrifice, and these ladies right out here, they sacrifice a lot too during the course of the season, because we're not at home a lot. In fact, we're probably together more than we are with our wives, and that's a sacrifice. But you have those kind of people up on this stage that are willing to do that, and that's why they're winners. This team has more heart than any team I've ever had in my life, and I'm proud of it. There's a lot of people in this organization behind the scenes that are not able to come up here on the stage and get some recognition, but there's one sitting right out there, Gord Ash. Would you stand, Mr. Ash? I said I wasn't going to do this year, but look like I'm doing it again. I know today, once we leave this stage, there's going to be some of the guys on this stage will not be here next year with us, but our hearts will go with you wherever you may be, and we love all of you, and we wish you the best. And all the luck in the world in whatever you might pursue. I'd like to do one more thing here. John Sullivan, could you come up for a minute? First of all, John and I have been together, we've been here for 12 years. And we actually came over here out of the Atlanta Braves organization with Bobby Cox. And Bobby left, and of course, Sully and I stayed here, and we've had a ball here, man. This has been great. And without the support of the fans in this city, we certainly would not have this talent up here on stage. So you guys got to give yourself a hand. I would like for all of you to look over my left shoulder and John's right. Here we go, John. Unveil.
Unveil it.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for all of your years of support, especially in this championship season. This will conclude today's program. Please have a safe trip home, and thank you for your patience and for coming so early today. God bless you all.
Now is Tom Cheek, play-by-play voice of the Toronto Blue Jays, and Jerry Howarth, also play-by-play voice of the Blue Jays. Not bad at all, Teresa. The key to speech writing: be aware, be sincere, and be seated.
And be brief. But, Paul, I'm really impressed. We had wondered who it would be to unveil the 1993 World Series banner. And, you know, last year Dave Winfield, but this year Cito Gaston. A very classy move calling up John Sullivan, who will retire after the end of this season, to unveil the new banner.
Every ball team's got to have a guy like Sully, as the players call him. He is a hard-nosed, hard guy to get to know, I am told. And you could hear the degree of affection for the man in the voices of a couple of people, Cito Gaston being one, and I thought it was quite touching when Mike Timlin got up and spoke about Johnny Sullivan as well. We wish him all the best as his baseball career comes to an end. 52 years old, and he ends it with back-to-back World Series titles.
When you were speaking about Mike Timlin, you could tell the amount of respect that he had for the man, admitting that he didn't really like him early on. But he said he pushed him more than anyone, and now we've seen the results.
Cito Gaston also touching on a great point, and one you are seeing illustrated as we speak. The gentlemen on that stage, once they leave the stage, will never be together in the same way again. They will never be the 1993 Toronto Blue Jays. And next year, when this team takes to the field, it will no longer be this team. It will be that team. It will be a different team. It'll be a new team. And there's one man who won't be a part of it, and everybody's saying their goodbyes.
Very happy yet sad, bittersweet day for John Sullivan, and really he recapped it all with just one word, and that was a great big thanks. Very emotional day for him. You know, there's been a lot of speculation, Paul, about who we are going to see on the field next year. Pat Gillick saying perhaps as many as 5 veterans won't be back, but boy, the memories that they have given us for this 1993 season.
The Toronto Blue Jays 1993 World Series champions, and the celebration starting to break up, but hey, still a few echoes left to bounce off the walls of the Sky Dome. We'll be back.
In a far stretch of sea, the wind howled with all its breath and the waves dashed with ferocious venom. Icelandic water and cold, damp fog brought out the cruelest of coughs and sore throats. It was with good fortune that pharmacist James Lofthouse had created a medicated lozenge from all natural sources over 128 years ago. Fisherman's Friend, 128 years of effectiveness for relief of coughs.
If you were colorblind and had an IQ less than 12,
and you wouldn't care which portable you had. Of course, you wouldn't care if you drank from the toilet either. Game gear. System to game, sold separately.
The Blues? First of all, they've been around for years. This quality you just don't find every day. The Blues are genuine, pure and simple.
Like all great blues, ours have a quality that comes from the heart of the country.
What do they say? They don't make things the way they used to. Well, some people do.
It has dual airbags, but it's not a BMW. It has front and rear crumple zones, but it's not a Lexus. And it has an energy-absorbing steering column, but it's not a Mercedes. This luxury sedan starts at $17,690, because you shouldn't have to spend your life savings on a car that could very possibly save your life. The new 1994 Nissan Altima, built for the human race.
And welcome back to Return to Glory on TSN. Live coverage of the Toronto Blue Jays 1993 World Series Championship celebration.
And Paul, what a day it has been, not only for the people of Toronto, but for the people of Canada as they celebrate this World Series win.
Yeah, from coast to coast, it was interesting last night to see all the news reports coming in. Very much a Canadian thing, although obviously the celebration concentrated in Toronto, the home of the Toronto Blue Jays, but still people were celebrating in Vancouver and Calgary and Edmonton and in Dartmouth and in Halifax and right across the country. And the party is still going on here, albeit it has lost just a little bit of steam. It's been going since last night, though. That's not too bad.
It really has, and a lot of these people came down to the Skydome at 9 o'clock this morning, and they were finally rewarded after waiting 7.5 hours. The Blue Jays finally came through the door of the Skydome, but I think they'll all say that it was well worth the wait.
Let's go back down and hear from Gino Reda. He's on the floor of the Skydome. Gino?
And now joining us, I'm basically going to introduce you with just 3 letters, Paul. MVP. Can you ever get bored of hearing that?
Well, I'll tell you, I don't know, I might get a little bored with that, to tell you the truth. I'm not going to get bored with World Series champion. I mean, you don't think about winning those type of individual awards. You try to figure out a way to win it all, and sure enough, the way the people came out today, the parade and the celebration here was just a great way to cap off what's been an unbelievable season.
Your first shot at a World Series title came fairly early in your career, back in 1982. At that point, you had a certain respect for it, but I think after the number of years you spent looking for your second shot at the World Series made you respect it that much more.
Well, I think the first time through in '82, you know, it was my 5th year in the big leagues, and it's something that I thought might happen every couple of years, but here we are 11 years later before I had a chance to experience it once again. So I do have a greater respect and appreciation for it, and actually to have gone on and won it this year now ranks indubitably as my #1 highlight.
Indubitably. Paul, thanks a lot very much. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Paul Molitor, World Series MVP, leading the Blue Jays to their second back-to-back World Series title.
All right, thank you very much, Gino. And Paul Molitor, MVP and World Series champion. And as you would expect, you would hear Molitor saying that the World Series title means a lot more to him than the MVP award.
Well, Paul Molitor saying it all today is his most memorable moment is watching that home run sail across the left field fence with Joe Carter wrapping it up for the Jays. Just a tremendous year for the Jays and for Paul Molitor.
Less than 24 hours ago, and the celebration continues here at the Skydome and here on TSN. We'll be back with more after this.